Prepared and flexible. Look around you. The world is in chaos, shambles everywhere. Countries, communities, nations. People crying out for justice. Met with anarchy, met with brutality, met with a force so lethal that you ask yourself, it's just a placard. Why are you scared of a placard? But what it leads, innocent men and women, young, old, children, minors, teenagers, parents, put down. They only had a placard. And these are the sad stories. And some people will say, when they put themselves there, you ask yourself this question: what about you? What makes you so different or so special? The cries of one is on one area. Your cries could be the next one. Nobody wakes up and finds themselves in such circumstance and situation. Justice should not be something that should be begged for. No one should lose their loved one at a young age because of crying for justice. But sadly, these are the realities that we live in, especially in my country, especially in our continent, whereby when you call for justice, you are met with vengeance. It's like you poked a bear or you messed up with a gorilla that is really on a rampage. It's just a placard. Just a placard. And the story echoes in different places and spaces. Just a placard. We live in times you're supposed to be very prepared mentally, physically, and spiritually. Because you never really know what could happen to you. The home you call home could become a strange land to you. Why? Because you have to leave it. You have to choose, do you live there, get bombarded, or do you go to another land which you're not familiar to? You need to learn to be prepared, because you never know the day, the hour, the second, the minute. What could happen to you? It's not cast on stone, not in the day and age we're living in. And if you don't prepare yourself mentally, physically, spiritually, you are in for a rough one. Physically, because trust me, you will run for your life. Mentally, because you have to get it right. Spiritually, because you have to be in the right space. Because nothing is guaranteed anymore. You go to a country, you land, when things go chaotic, you think they'll think about you, a stranger. Worst case scenario, if you're of my descent, African, no. As a kid, I used to be told, you need to prepare for the worst. And so I learned to prepare for the worst. One, because where I grew up was crazy. When people see chaos and people see all the things that happen to people being offed, it's the life I got accustomed to at a very young age. And I remember as I grew, I became a scout. As a scout, I ended up going to train. As a scout, I was taken to camps. So I learned to sleep in the forest. I learned to go. And so I was accustomed. Little did I know that years later, I would really need those tactics to survive. Because then I was being trained how to stay without anything, how to light up a fire without a mastic, how to survive in the jungle. And nature became part of my life. And so I go to high school. And I went to a high school. I was very tiny by physics. And I remember I was told, when you go, there are things called strikes. It happens. Things happen. And I believe it should have been like a decade before that. Something bad had really happened. And yeah, people were oft in one institution. And so the trauma lived. So when I was in high school one day, I remember the words I was told. And eventually chaos did erupt. It was chaos among teachers, and it became too political, and things became bad. That day, I went and ended up in a house in a village. I remember being shot at. I was very tiny, but I remember the bullets. They were not rubber bullets, real. But I narrowly escaped. Some of my friends, not so much. I remembered the next time we went again, another incident happened. This time, I slept in the forest, while the others are calling for their parents. For me, it was just another day. I got accustomed to it. I was already trained as a young kid. Another time, I ended up sleeping in the tarmac. Mind you, I should have been around 14, 14, 13 years there. Very tiny, different environment. And the preparations that were done when I was a kid, I was able to adapt. And when we had a post-election, often in our country, I remember at the time I should have been around 15, 16 there. And I was left under the care to take care of my sister and my cousin. They were very, very young. And at that time, it was a country. There's no electricity. It was in times of internet. And my parents had to make that choice because they were doing, if something happens to them, then we could be safer. And so I was left under the care to take care of them. There was no cooker or anything. Yeah, sticks, prepare, and we enjoyed, we protected each other. It was a forested area, so you can imagine the type of snakes. The thing is, as I've grown over time, everything I've been prepared as a kid, and every time, I remember I went to a country and the person was to deal with switched off their phone. I ended up in a very hostile environment where I don't know the language, they're not speaking English. I don't know their language, and I was stuck in a very dangerous place. But because I already had learned how to survive, how to all that, I thrived. In fact, the country became one place I love a lot. Actually, I have a particular meal from that country I prepare all the time. The thing is, any day, anytime, anywhere, anything can happen. When people are protesting and crying for justice, there are other people who are taking advantage. We have very devious characters who will look at women and say, now I have this one, I'll take by force. There are people who are looking at some guys that say, this one, I will rob him off or I will do A, B, C, D to them. And the thing is, if you're going anywhere, make sure to the left and to the right, you kind of have familiar faces. Not those faces that you fear that they can turn against you, people you can trust. And let's say you don't even know them, then stay alert and stay sharp. Because when darkness hits, the devil starts jumping. Because now he's a happy person and chaos erupts. Nobody is immune to being homeless. Anyone can be homeless. Whether it's economic issues, whether it's war, whether it's civil unrest, anyone can be homeless. Anyone can end up angry. Anyone can experience flooding. Anyone. The question is, how do we adopt? And this is where, in some countries, whereby if they call on their police, people will come, they can cry ABCD. People like us, yeah, we don't do such things. Because you call them, you're the one who goes out first. So the thing is, learn to be prepared. The life you're living in is no joke. If you have kids, you need to teach them security, you need to teach them how to live without. How go to a place, an up country or a place whereby there is no technology, there is no electricity. Let them learn to use sticks and stones. Teach them life, teach them to remember their home, the name. If it's home, let them know the name, where the house number is, the gate. Let them know all the parents' name, the siblings. Let them have places whereby if anything happens, they can run to. I started training my nephew and my niece when they were 2 years, 3 years. They're very good at that. Right now, one is 3 years, the other one is 6 years. They're very good because I was trained as a kid and I trained them as they are. So the thing is, nobody knows today, nobody knows tomorrow. You can never tell how life will go. You can go into a country, traveling as a tourist, but end up getting stuck there. And you think right now most countries care, they really don't care. You could think you are diplomatic will help, it couldn't help. Not in the times that we're living in. So anyone, anywhere can find themselves in a circumstance and situation that's in an uncontrollable place. First thing, don't be paranoid. In terms of, don't go all over as if you've lost your brains. No, chill, relax, understand your environment, take a pause, breathe in and breathe out, and start making moves. Moves that you know can help you, not get you lose. It's sad that most people, when they are hit with tough situations, the first thing they do is their unhealthy coping mechanisms of indulgence in whether it's drugs, whatever it may be. That's wrong. Be sober in every choice and decision that you make, because the life you're living in, freedom is not freedom. Freedom is just an illusion that we're always told we have. Do we really? So at the end of the day, take care of yourself. Be prepared. Be flexible. Adjust and adopt. That job you have can go. Adopt to a new style of survival. That business can go down. That area you live in that is very safe can turn chaotic. Nothing and nowhere and no place and no space is guaranteed. Your neighbor can turn against you. So be alert, be prepared, and at all times stay sober minded, and you will survive.